ladies and gentlemen, Ronald Ray here, your boy with a cornbread accent. Welcome to this week's edition of Wrestling Gold Friday Night. Yes, we got going to talk a little wrestling history, and we're going to have a watch along of the North American Wrestling Association from 1990 that has stars like Ricky Steamboat, unfortunately the Nasty Boys, a rookie Ken Shamrock, much more. Before I get started. On the history now, I'll explain that later. But anyway, uh, appreciate everybody tuning in. Uh, Go ahead if you're watching this live, say hello in the chat. Don't be afraid. Nobody bites here. Uh, I'll say hello back. Uh, let's see. Sorry, try to get my throat clear. Nerves built up a little bit. You know how it goes. But anyway, yes. Hopefully everybody's had a good week. Before I get started, let's do the usual sales pitch. If you're enjoying what you're seeing here, drop a like or hit the like button or tap the like button, wherever you want to call it. Leave a comment if you're watching the replay. Appreciate you watching as well. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Also, if you're not a subscriber yet, be a champ and click on that subscribe button. But yeah, a few things in history we're going to get into. Karen Poole's here. See, Karen Poole's here. Hello, Karen Poole. She's here. I say hello. She says hello. And is that chick from the Muppets, or is that something else? Didn't I ask that last week or last night? Yes, I'm showing my age. I know who the Muppets are. The Muppet Show, the Muppets movie. Uh, the last one I seen was Muppets Take Manhattan, which was actually pretty good at that time. Don't know if I can. Oh, you think it's something else? Oh, okay. I thought it was with the little band, the Muppets with Animal, who played drums. Can't name them all, but Muppets Take Manhattan. Uh, Good movie to watch with the kids. Safe movie. Yeah, that was. I think that was the best one. Especially at that age, I think I want to watch that thing 100 times. Every time it came on HBO, it'll be like, oh, might as well watch this. um, what else is going on today? The weather don't know whether the weather wants to rain or shine or to stay cloudy. Kind of chilly today. Yes, that's right. We had it on VHS. I forget. Yeah, we probably didn't see it on HBO a lot. We just had it on VHS and wore the tape out because we didn't have a lot of movies except for when we went to the rental store. So that's one we had and wore that tape out. Anyway, let's let it rip here. So uh, today I'm going back to 1963. Where's my notes at? There we go. There's the notes. Reason I'm going back to 1963 is just for uh, this uh, this day in history in 1963 in New York City. This is when Bruno Sammartino defeated Buddy Rogers with the over the shoulder backbreaker. That was his finishing move. Made him submit, not tap out, not throwing a towel or anything like that. He had to shake his head. Yes, I quit. Uh, Secede, as Gordon Soley would say. And actually, I seen one that says 40. I see a bunch of them says 48, and I see some that says 55. Hey, Brandon Watson. Uh, yes, he defeated Buddy Rogers in just 55 seconds to win the WWF World Championship. He would hold the championship for the remainder of the 60s and wouldn't lose it till January 18th of 1971. A full 400 weeks later, uh, he would lose against Ivan Koloff. Uh, according to this, it was a 7.5 year reign, 2 years longer than Bob Backlund, and by far still the longest, WW, WWF, WWF, WWE World Champion. Um, yeah, Roman Reigns didn't beat it, but he came close. Joe King wearing a COVID mask. Good job. Don't want to get anybody else sick, especially in the chat. Don't want to get anybody else in the chat sick. So the chat is safe from any germs. The sick person is wearing a mask, so you're safe. See, perfectly safe. So yeah, now I think Buddy Rogers was also the NWA World Champion too. I'm trying to think, but I know he was the first person to ever hold the NWA World and WWF Championship. Um, but yeah, quite frankly, Bruno Sammartino. I mean, this began the uh, began the dominance of Bruno Sammartino. He was a ticket seller, a huge star. He was basically Bruno Sammartino was what what he was for the WWF or WWF, WWE, whatever you want to call it. That he was to them as what Babe Ruth was for the Yankees, and you can also say football. He was, Babe Ruth was a big star, especially a big star for the Yankees. Always sold out Yankee Stadium. That's why they call it for a long time. They called Yankee Stadium the house that Ruth built. He did build that. He was a huge star. Bruno Sammartino for pro wrestling for the WWF. Uh, he was the Babe Ruth. So I always think it's important to know. For me, this is just my opinion. This is why I like to talk about history of pro wrestling more than I do current stuff because uh, I'm at that age where a lot of the good stuff I've seen history, and I'm pretty sure for you younger people, what you're seeing now, you think is the greatest thing since sliced bread. So 20, 30 years from now, don't want to date myself that bad. If you're still watching or watching when you have kids or something like that, and it's progressed, how it's progressed uh, in that 20 years, you'll look at this time being the greatest thing since sliced bread. But I still think if you play baseball, you should at least know who people like Babe Ruth is. Um, Ty Cobb, Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, Greg Maddux, Cy Young, the Cy Young, not the Cy Young winning. You know, they have a Cy Young award given to the best pitcher in baseball for each league. If you play baseball, you want to, and you're a pitcher, you're aspiring to be the best pitcher you can be, and you want to, get to the majors and win that coveted Cy Young award. At least try to figure out who Cy Young is. Learn who Cy Young was. Barry Bonds, Dale Murphy, Andre Dawson, a lot of Brian Sandberg, a lot of good players. And of course, talking about baseball. Now you talk about wrestling. To me, go back and learn about Bruno Sammartino, Lou Thez, Buddy Rogers, Gorgeous George. I mean, Muhammad Ali stole a lot of his shtick from Gorgeous George, and he's admitted that many a times uh, before his death, of course. Excuse me while I take a little drink here. I mean, I don't know everything about Lou Thez. I don't know everything about Bruno Sammartino, but I at least know who they are and familiar about what they meant to the sport or sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it, that I like. Uh, but yeah, the Andersons, along with Ric Flair. I mean, it's sad to see Ric Flair now the way he is, but that we talked about that last week on the Spot Show live stream of last week. But Ric Flair was a big star. Dusty Rhodes was a big star. So was, I mean, Vern Gagne in his era was a big star. So yeah, so as I go through here, and I seen that this is the anniversary uh, of Bruno Sammartino winning his first WWF championship. That was important to mention that along with some of his other stuff. Uh, of course, I kind of put this together last minute, so unfortunately, I'm skipping a whole decade, like nothing in the '70s. So I do apologize for that. Here I am giving this speech about knowing the history of whatever entertainment you like, and then I skip a whole decade. Anyway, I'll just move along here. Rant over. Let's have some fun. Like I said, it's safe in the chat. I can't. I think they said Dale Murphy. I can't. I can't read mask. Just kidding. Just kidding. Can't understand mask. I messed up my own joke. Anyway, let's move along here. On this day in 1986, Playboy Buddy Rose and Doug Summers defeated. Who did they defeat? Oops. Oops. Oh, you son of a bee sting. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. My bad. They defeated Kurt Hennig and Scott Hall to win the AWA World Tag Team Championship. A little controversial because they won by a countout, and usually disqualifications and countouts, the champion usually keeps the championship. Even at those days, they now they call it just a champion's advantage, which is a cool little twist of the word for it. But they do mention that a lot. Um, but they did explain. They did later explain that for this match, the championship could change hands via countout, but no specific reason. I think it's just one of those. I think Scott Hall was about to leave and maybe go to Florida at the time or Memphis because he was still going around the territories at the time. 86. It might have been when he went to Florida and they called him Magnum Scott Hall. I could be wrong because this is 86. They might have gave him a couple, one like a rematch or something like that, and that didn't. Of course, didn't win the rematch. But anyway, it might have been one of those deals where they wanted to take it off Scott Hall and Kurt Hennig because Scott Hall's about to leave. I don't know the inner workings there, but still though, Playboy Buddy Rose, Doug Summers with Sherry Martel were your tag team champions for a while until they lost it to the Midnight Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Mario Jannetty. More about them later. Let's see. Also, this day in 1986 in Baltimore, Maryland, Dusty Rhodes and the Road Warriors defeated Baron Von Raschke and the Koloffs, Ivan and Nikita Koloff, to win the NWA six-man tag team championship, not WCW or anybody else. NWA six-man championship. I couldn't find a picture of when, because usually they had a big trophy to acknowledge the six-man champions, but they wind up making them nice, pretty belts. Uh, and this is probably a little before I think they switched the belts with between them and the Powers of Pain, and I'm a Warlord Barbarian, and Ivan Koloff. Then they won them back. Then later on they turned on them, but uh, actually, it was the original six-man champions at the time were Ivan Nikita Koloff and Crusher Khrushchev, but Baron Von Raschke took the place of Crusher Khrushchev because Crusher Khrushchev, Barry Darso, Smash of Demolition, uh, Blacktop Bully, uh, Crusher Darso, you name it. That was his gimmick almost. Uh, anyway, he had injured his leg in a match with Sam Houston, and so I think he had injured his knee or something like that. Had to get surgery, so that put him on shuffle a little bit. So they put Baron Von Raschke in his place, but Dusty and the Road Warriors wound up beating them. Let's see. In 1992, WCW presented Wrestle War 92 from the Jacksonville Coliseum in Jacksonville, Florida. About 6,000 were in attendance. Oh, wow. with 105,000 homes watching on pay per view. That was down from 150,000 homes for Super Brawl 1 that was held on May 1991. Wow. That's not good. There was a dark match. Diamond Dallas Page and Thomas Rich defeated Bob Cook and Firebreaker Chip. The Freebirds defeated Terry Taylor and Greg Valentine to win the WCW United States Tag Team Championship. Johnny B. Bad defeated Tracy Smothers. Scotty Flamingo defeated Marcus Alexander Bagwell. Ron Simmons defeated Mr. Hughes. Super Invader defeated Todd Champion. Of course, Super Invader here is Hercules Hernandez. Big Josh defeated Richard Morton. Sorry. Uh, yeah, defeated him with a tea bag. Uh, Brian Pillman defeated Tom Zink to retain the WCW Light Heavyweight Championship. The Steiner Brothers, man, when we was talking about a few weeks ago, or maybe a couple weeks ago, Good Japan Wrestling era. This is it. You had the Steiner Brothers here defeated Tatsumi Fujinami and Akayuki Izuka. I'll just say Izuka because that's what Jim Ross kept on calling them. To become the number one contenders for the IWGP Tag Team Championship. But yeah, these two guys here were very good. Uh, so many names I can't remember right now. Not Saito, but Muda, of course, and all them. But we talked about it before. But they won this match to become the number one contenders for the IWGP Tag Team Champions, which they wound up winning. Of course, the main event, it was Sting Squadron. His team, included Sting, Barry Windham, Dusty Rhodes, Ricky Steamboat, and Nikita Koloff. Defeated the Dangerous Alliance, Steve Austin, Rick Rude, Arn Anderson, Bobby Eaton, and Larry Zbyszko. Oh my God. Come on. I mean, that's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, you got 7 out of 10, I believe. Yeah, 7 out of 10 people who are Hall of Famers, and every one of these men should be in a Hall of Fame. Dustin Rhodes should be there. Uh, why not Nikita Koloff? And we had a big discussion last night about Hall of Fames because Missy Hyatt brought that up, but that's I mean, even up and down his car, man, it was Johnny B. Bad, the Mark Mira as a Johnny B. Bad character wasn't that bad. He was wrestling Tracy Smothers, who was pretty good. So, that was a decent match. Freebirds, this was probably the last leg of the Jim Garvin and Michael Hayes, the complete Freebird, era, or even them as a team. I think they wasn't long after this they probably left. I think they went to Global for a while, but didn't do nothing there. Then I believe it was like 94, 95. Michael Hayes turned into Doc Hendricks and got him a job at WWE. Terry Taylor, good worker. Greg Valentine, good worker. A rookie Diamond Dallas Page, Tommy or Thomas Rich, but Tommy Rich. Bob Cook, if you listen to a lot of people in their interviews and they mention Bob Cook, nobody says anything bad about him, even though he was pretty much a preliminary guy. He was teamed with a guy named Curtis Thompson, but they changed his name to Firebreaker Chip. And of course, Super Invader was Hercules Hernandez, probably one of the bigger muscle bound guys there. Todd Champion is Todd Champion. Big Josh, of course, was Matt Bourne, Ricky Morton, again, another Hall of Famer. Uh, and the list goes on and on. But unfortunately, this is when 92 was probably during that wrestling recession, you know, kind of ran its course, and I think that's when a lot of the scandals were starting to come out. the steroid and sex scandals was coming out. So uh, once WWE or WWF was taking a hit, everybody took a hit. Let's see here. Moving right along. On this date in 1993, WWF Monday Night Raw from Manhattan Center in New York City. Uh, Marge and Eddie made a return. Uh, Shawn Michaels is kind of running his mouth and said, "Hey, need somebody to challenge me?" A guy wearing shorts and a hoodie came out, uh, took down the hood part, wound up being Marge and Eddie. They had a match, and Marge and Eddie wound up defeating Shawn Michaels to win the WWF Intercontinental Championship. A little bit of help from Mr. Perfect. Um, let's see. This will be Janae's only singles championship with the company. On the same show, though, A Star Was Born. If you watch Global, you knew him as the Lightning Kid. Of course, now everybody knows his real name, Sean Waltman, X Pac, Six Pac. Uh, one, but this is where he got the name 123 Kid. Uh, but right here, he was billed as the Kid. He defeated Razor Ramon and with a moonsault. At the time, he was losing against everybody, but they gave him a win here. Um, he wanted to hold the tag team championships multiple times. I think he was a European champion, a lightweight champion when he came back as X Pac. But of course, there was no. I think everybody knows now that uh, Waltman, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H were all good friends and all that, riding buddies, called a clique. They had all this power and all that, supposedly. Uh, so if you're on YouTube, not now, later, of course, um, stay watching me. Uh, just do a quick Google search or YouTube search of the click, and or wrestlers talking about the click, and people will give you their opinion. Uh, but yeah, he was like I said, he was known as the 123 Kid till he left the company in 1996, and then he came back not to because he went to WCW, known as Six Pac because he was a sixth member of NWO. Then something happened, he got fired, and came back to WWE as a member of DX. Of course, that's where he got the name X Pac. All right. On this date in 1995, the character Savio Vega makes his WWF in-ring debut during the Action Zone, defeating Eli Blue. Uh, Savio, big star in Puerto Rico as TNT, came into WWF as Quang the Ninja. Did the did the best and all that, but I guess it didn't go over too well. So uh, they said, "Hey, why don't we just make you friends with Scott Hall and call you Savio Vega?" That's how he, debuted. Had a little hill run with the Los Barwincas or wherever they call them. Like, they had everybody was like part of the gang at the time. Is kind of cringe at the time, but then we'll go back to Puerto Rico. As Joe King and I said, he started his career as TNT and the World Wrestling Council. We'll go back there. I think he wrestled a little bit, had like an on-screen role, and did behind-the-scenes stuff, like one of their bookers and whatnot. But very good career for Savio Vega. Actually, what was it? Uh, Last year's Backlash in Puerto Rico, he made an appearance. So it was kind of cool to see that. Let's see. Back in this day in 1997, Terry Funk defeated Raven, Stevie Richards, and the Sandman in an elimination match. During this bout, Funk dropped a steel guardrail on Richards' back and neck, injuring him. It would be Stevie's last match in ECW. He announced his retirement from wrestling soon after. His retirement, though, was less than 2 months. He signed with WCW that summer, then will be released that fall after he fails a physical. And of course, he would go on to the WWE and all that. Um, if you're listening to this and you're thinking about, or you're trying to become a pro wrestler at this time, go watch his videos on YouTube. You might learn something. Uh, that being Stevie Richards. He does have some knowledge. I don't think he minds. Of course, he don't mind. He's got a YouTube channel and uh, he'll analyze matches and stuff like that. So yes, if you want to learn something, uh, watch his videos. Take notes. All right. And on this date in 1998, excuse me, WCW presented Slamboree from the Worcester Centrum in Worcester, Massachusetts. That sounds like Worcestershire sauce. Worcester, Worcestershire. Sorry. 11,592 fans were in attendance, with 275,000 at home watching it on pay per view. That was up 220,000 homes from the 1997 edition. So yeah, at this time, WCW, White Hot, WWE, they were starting to cook, and it turned to a battle. And of course, um, WCW started uh, messing up a lot, and wound up getting bought out. Anyway, on that card, you had Fit Finlay defeated Chris Benoit to retain the WCW World Television Championship. Lex Luger defeated Brian Adams. Cyclops defeated Chavo Guerrero Jr., Damien, El Dandy, El Gyro, Evan Courageous, Johnny Swinger, Kidman, Lenny Lang, Marty Jannetty, Psychosis, Silver King, Super Callow, Volano 4, and a battle royal to earn a shot at the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. Of course, the last person eliminated that battle royal was Juventud Guerrero. Of course, he eliminated himself when he realized it was actually Dean Malenko. Dean Malenko would go on to defeat Chris Jericho. Yes, the same Chris Jericho for the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. They had a pretty good feud here. Of course, I mean this at this time, this is when Chris Jericho is starting to hit that stride, starting to figure things out. Uh, Real good gift of gab here. Uh, what was it? Uh, they called Dean Malenko the man of 1,000 holds. I think Chris Jericho called himself the man with 1,004 holds, so or something like that. Anyway, Diamond Dallas Page defeated Raven in a Bowery Death match. Eddie Guerrero defeated Ultimo Dragon. Goldberg defeated Perry Saturn to retain the WCW United States Championship. Bret Hart defeated Randy Savage by disqualification. Roddy Piper was the special referee. And the main event, it was Sting and the Giant defeated the Outsiders, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, to win the WCW World Tag Team Championship. Whew. What a day. Uh, Sorry, folks. I forgot to do this again. That's why you heard it go off. Move number 4, the arm drag. Yeah, there was a spot. It was on Nitro where he pulled out this huge list. Gosh, Jericho loves this list, don't he? He pulled out this huge list and he started naming all these holds he knew. And of course, number 4 would be the arm drag. 3, of course, was a hip toss. Uh, 5, I guess, was the arm bar. He kept naming, kept naming, kept naming. They went to commercial break, and when they got back, Jericho was still in the ring with his, just going through holes, stuff like that. Then I think Dean Malenko came out and ended all that finally. But you know, no, nothing wrong with a little entertainment in your wrestling. Uh, and Chris Jericho knew how to do it. As recent, he got signed to WWF, then E. Um, Probably had to go through a bunch of stuff before they finally said okay. Because I think his first reign as the undisputed champion, because he defeated Rock and Steve Austin the same night to win the WCW, which was dead, and to win the WCW and the WWF World Heavyweight Championships. Uh, but yeah, he talks about that a lot during that time. I guess you really got to go back and see if yeah, unless you're Goldberg. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, supposedly there was a little. I mean, people knock Chris Jericho now, whatever, but trying to say he's in it for himself, which let's face it, they're all kind of in it for themselves. They want to, you know, uh, they want the spot too. Everybody wants the spot. If you don't want to be in that conversation or whatever, then uh, that's when you got this know your role and stuff like that, and set things where they are. But Chris Jericho would actually stick up for the boys, and apparently Bill Goldberg thought he and just get in Chris Jericho's face, and I guess they were about to fight him. Then Goldberg charged him, and Jericho just hooked him in the front face lock. And supposedly at one time, this was when um, Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton had their match, where Brock Lesnar used a forearm and gave Randy Orton a hard way. Apparently, Chris Jericho went to Brock Lesnar and said, what are you doing? Was that planned? Because he just looked at it, thought, Lesnar just went into business for himself and whatnot. But so it takes some kahunas to step up to Brock Lesnar for one thing, and probably take some kahunas really to, at that time he was not known what he may or may not know, that him being Bill Goldberg. Uh, and I think kind of didn't Regal was kind of snug with him a little bit in one match that was on TV. But Regal professional, he did the job like he was asked. Um, but yeah, let's see here, and that's all I got for this date in history. I said unfortunately I probably skipped a decade. I skipped the '70s, but like I said, I kind of just put this together within, well, it's 8:41 now. Around 7 o'clock, I think I started trying to put things together. So please forgive me for skipping the '70s. Next week I'll have some '70s on there, but definitely thought it was important to include the Bruno Sammartino winning against Buddy Rogers. That was a big news at that time. And Regal did give Goldberg a competitive match. Oh, I like Regal. I always liked Regal. Even the WCW when he was with Sir William Bill Dundee. Uh, you just like watching him. I don't know what it was. It's like, gosh, he's a heel. I know it's not supposed to cheer him, but it's like, gosh, he's good in the ring, go on the mic. You know, but I think he has problems, and it was WCW. So we all know how that goes. All right. So let's keep this train a rolling. Uh, Going to check out some North American Wrestling Association from August 25th, 1990. Uh, yeah, Regal had definitely a good character. That English snob, um, you know, royalty, whatever, being a lord, however, whatever that means in England. Not around here. The only lord around here is Jesus Christ. Don't you freaking forget it. Hallelujah, amen. Let me get amen from the chat. Amen. We don't call this people we don't just randomly call people Lord around here. There's only one Lord, and that's Jesus Christ. Can I get an amen? I guess I can't get an amen. Tough crowd. Oh, got one. Got an amen. Amen. Never seen no Steven Regal on a cross. Yes, it was Lord Steven Regal, then William Regal, and WWE. Anyway, like I said, we want to check out some North American Wrestling Association. Let's see. Oops. Let me got some notes here. And when I be my notes, I mean Google. So I did do a brief history uh, layout here. It started out as North American Wrestling Association, founded by George Scott. George Scott was a former wrestler. Teamed with his younger brother Sandy as the Flying Scots. Um, Scott was a longtime head booker for Jim Crockett Promotions during the 70s, and with Vince McMahon when Vince McMahon went national. So that if you could tell that George Scott was the booker, that's how he got Valentine. That's how he got Steamboat. Um, who else at the time? Crap. I think Hernandez too. Uh, this is one of the trivia questions I had a long time ago. But basically, yeah, a lot of people from Roddy Piper. We got a pause coming to you, huh? Got a pause coming to me. But yeah, anyway, uh, like I said, a lot of people from Crockett's, Piper, Valentine, Steamboat, came over from the Crockett's, joined the WWF when Vince McMahon was doing an expansion. Uh, on Steve Austin's podcast, Scott was created by Ric Flair. Was the person who came up with the idea to reverse the figure four leg lock. Uh, that would when you turn over the figure four, that would reverse the pain and actually cause the guy who originally applied the figure four to feel the pain. Response is kind of like, oh yeah, yeah. I think I'm like 30 seconds ahead of everybody. I need I need to figure out how to get that fixed. I don't know if I can fix it or uh or whatnot. But anyway, let's see. So yeah, it's founded by George Scott, a guy by the name of John Ringley and Mike Limburth in Charlotte, North Carolina in 1990. Uh, Then it was later taken over by Paul Jones and Frank Dusek. Uh, Basically, they was trying to run the same uh, territory spots as the Crockett promotions. Of course, at that time, Ted Turner had done bought the Jim Crockett promotions and turned it to WCW, and which was national. So um, Charlotte was just not, not so important to Ted Turner as it was to maybe other people who were in Jim Crockett's. But I think they ran high schools and uh, stuff like that because it was kind of, little civic centers here and there, places that I guess that they can get because they probably can afford the bigger stadiums or bigger arenas, and I think because the competition at that time was hot too at the time, especially with Crockett and Vince. So they had like clauses. Hey, if we come to your arena, you can't let the competitor come in your arena. Because I think there were maybe a couple times that WWF actually came to the Omni, but it wasn't too often. But I think there was a clause, saying no, especially after Ted Turner bought, because I think he ran the Omni too, or owned the Omni, so or had control of interest. So he definitely wasn't going to let Vince McMahon book his show in his backyard. So anyway, like I said, had a rookie Ken Shamrock, had Robert Fuller here, Ricky Steamboat, a lot of people. So let's see, going to thank the guy Armstrong Alley. Also, let me, before I get too carried away, in case you want to hear me ramble along as it's playing, you can play it for yourself. There's a link to it. So let's go ahead and get started here. Let's go.
Well, a pleasant good afternoon, everyone. Ted Webb, and welcome to South Atlantic Wrestling, the best of the North American Wrestling Association. It is a pleasure and an honor to have you tonight, the #1 ranked contender in the NAWA, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Thank you very much, and I'd like to say thanks to all the fans that have given us support here. We're going to have one heck of a card here this evening. But you know something, towards that last hour, Ted, I don't know if I'll be able to stand with you there. You know who's going to be on?
Yeah, we're going to have the stud stable, and I wanted to talk to you about that feud that has developed, Ricky, because this is certainly going to produce the kind of action that may be costly to somebody.
You know something, Ted
NWA World Title. He stuck around for a little bit, and then
but I'll tell you something, when they start out and get out here in their gang like the way they like to do things, and I'm going to be out here with the announcers table with Ted, but I've got some people that have been watching my back, so this last hour may just turn out to be a barn burner. Fuller and Maniac Matt Bourne, you keep yourselves in the ring and just watch out.
I tell you, we're going to be treated to a great match between Vince Torelli and the International Wrestling heavyweight champion, Mark, who took him on, I guess it was in Winston-Salem.
And Vince Torelli
put on one of the best wrestling matches I've ever seen. We're going to see film clips of that today. Let's go on with the action. Let's take it to ringside to our ring announcer, Fabian Fuentes.
And speaking of Firebreaker Chip, I mentioned earlier that Wrestle War 92 featured a guy by the name Firebreaker Chip. This was Firebreaker Chip. He was kind of pretty much a preliminary guy for the Crockett's for a long time. If you watch old WTBS arena or studio shows, he would be in there. He would be a preliminary guy. I think he did some preliminary work in WWF as well. I think he wound up going to Portland, and wound up receiving a little push in Portland, and called himself the U.S. Mail for a while. And
he's a good all-around wrestler and a guy to keep your eye on in the future, Mr. Curtis Thompson.
He gets some cooler,
Curtis Thompson in the first round during that tournament for the North American Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. I've known Curtis now for several years, and he's gone off and wrestled throughout Canada and Nova Scotia and up there in the Seattle, Washington area. He's come back into this area, which is he's from here, to make his name, and the guy's turned out to be one heck of a wrestler. During that match with him, it was a very, very close one.
Yeah, after Portland, he came back to this area. He worked for Southern Championship Wrestling from Georgia, or Georgia All-Stars, team with a guy named Chris Walker. They called themselves the U.S. Males. Went to Memphis, did the same U.S. Male gimmick. Basically, U.S. Male, he would wear like the shirt of the male. I think he worked for Global a little bit, not long. Again, teamed with Chris Walker. I think he teamed a little bit with a rookie Buff Bagwell, Marcus Bagwell, Fabian at the time. Then he wound up joining WCW, I think around 90. Probably not long after this, 91 maybe. Him and Todd Champion formed a team, the U.S. Patriots. Of course, Todd Champion kept calling himself Todd Champion, but wrestling like a military fatigue. He called Curtis Thompson, called himself Firebreaker Chip, wearing the fireman's outfit. So.
A lot of these young guys are tougher than they really look, or you may think that you've got them down with a blow. But anytime you cover anybody nowadays,
and of course, after WCW, just worked independent.
Great shape. You've got to hook that leg. You've got to cover
NWA.
Asking Hannah, the referee, ask him if he's going to get. He calls himself the U.S. Male. He delivers a very narcissistic attitude about himself. But Ricky, I have to say that it's been extremely successful for him. There you saw the ultimate knee to the groin, completely flipped William Ford, and he rams that shoulder into the turnbuckle. And we've seen this. This is a prelude. This is a prelude to a submission hold that he applies on that shoulder. Smart guy working on one particular part of the body.
In 99, he teamed with a guy by the name of Craig Austin. Called themselves Triple X. They won the NWA World Champion and WWE World Champion in 2000. Of course, this is when
submission.
Now I'll tell you something right now. I jumped into the ring about 3 weeks ago because
this one, basically NWA was just like
I don't believe there's any cause for this, and I have to sit here. You know something, Ted? This is going to be a very interesting hour. I don't know. As each minute wears on,
in case you don't know, that music that is NC Hammer's You Can't Touch This
We'll be back with more. In fact, we're going to have some footage of your match with one of the Nasty Boys. All that and more coming up next on South Atlantic.
Oh, Lord, poor Ricky Steamboat. Did y'all have to do him this dirty?
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. His opponent, weighing 340 pounds from New York City, here is Nasty Boy Knobs.
Nasty Boy Knobs got his hands full in this one. He's taking on Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. This is the second round of the competition. The winner will advance to the third round.
I think we're going to get into a wrestling lesson here.
Yes, sir. If I were Knobs, I would pay close attention to what I were to be instructed on over the next 20 minutes. There's the bell, your referee, Sal Carenti.
He's going to get a lot of messages.
Ted Webb along with Luthez, six-time World Heavyweight Champion at ringside. We are in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And this is the site of the single-night elimination tournament to determine the first ever North American Wrestling Association Heavyweight Champion.
So this took place prior to
Knobs perhaps
actual
having
show
second
because,
thoughts about being in the ring
because
without the
as we
benefit of
know
having his
now,
partner
and they
Sags
already
there.
mentioned brought it forward, is the North American Wrestling Association
I would say that the mental
heavyweight
factor
champion.
has to be with Ricky tonight, Lou.
That's a good
And
guess.
they're mentioning the match. Oh, of course.
See, weight doesn't mean a thing. You see that? The momentum. He caught him coming in and just tossed him like nothing, like a pancake.
300 and some pounds being flipped around the ring. Whoa!
There's that Andre that is famous.
And
Of all the moves that Steamboat does well, and people try to copy, is that
He's
Andre.
one step ahead of the game. Ricky is. It's the balance and the reflex, and
And of course, after he
just doing his
taking
shot,
over
calling his own
Bradford
shots.
and
you take a look at his eyes
that's
right
when
there. He's another guy that's
went to back to
concentrating.
WWF,
Yes. Oh, you
and
bet
they
that.
that's when he
That
started
is a
wearing
study
the
in
dragon
focus.
suit, breathing fire, and stuff like that.
And the pressure being applied.
Yeah, and of course, we'll come back to spent like another year or two there.
Knobs right now
Came
is
back down
showing the
to
size of somebody
WCW
who's in
wound up
pain.
finishing his career
He is in pain.
Became an agent in WWF.
He's a tough guy, a big guy, and can't take a lot of punishment.
Funny thing, some big guys cannot.
I know it. I know it. Some big guys can give it, but when it comes time to get it, they don't want any part of it.
That's right.
Whoa! Almost tore his head off with that chop. Whoa! That's something
That's
like
another
a
guy I
savate
won't
kick
want to
there,
be
Lou.
talked
I'm
about.
telling you, reverse savant.
I remember having amazing one time. This is when Steamboat and Claire were having their
20 years
trilogy
ago,
of matches
serving from the
back
sand.
in was it 80?
Went to Bangkok on R&R.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what a city.
Yeah.
What a city. I would love to go back again
But,
as a civilian this time.
Bangkok is a nice place.
Well, maybe after the
There
program
was a
tonight,
picture.
you and I might be able to
Somebody
get a
took
ticket
the
and go there
picture
for a while.
right
we'd
spot
like that.
Boy, I'll tell
of
you.
Steamboat chopping
They'd
Claire,
report us missing
and
in
you see
action and presumed
Steamboat's
to be
hand
having fun.
imprinted in the Claire's chest.
Missing in action and presumed to be
This is
having
when
fun.
Claire was flabby,
Last maneuver will put you in the
way better
Vienna
shape
voice
than
dryer
he
real
was.
quick. Landing square on the bottom of his back. And Knobs starting to pour it on now, trying to turn the tide, which so far has been all landing with that elbow square on the chest, 300 and some odd
So I
pounds.
listened to Steamboat's Unity one time.
Tell you what, don't go to the well
And
one time too
he was
often. I think Ricky's
I think they
hurt.
asked him like how you guys technique of selling stuff, especially with his hands. If you notice why Steamboat would sell with his hands,
Faster. Hey, I don't blame you for
and
asking that.
a lot of body gestures. He said he pretty much watched boxing,
Steamboat is
and
stunned right
when
now.
somebody,
He's slowed down
when a boxer punched another boxer,
He landed on
you know,
his
he
left leg.
seen
and I
how
like the
they
way he
took the
landed on
hit,
it. You could really do a great job in that femur landing that way.
and he would just pretty much act like a boxer every time he got hit.
Off the ropes, catching another
He's doing a lot
elbow.
of catching.
Boy, he's been catching a lot of punishment here over the last minute or
And actually,
so.
Brad Armstrong, I
Each of
think,
these
said,
matches is a 20-minute time limit.
copied a lot from Steamboat as far as selling with a hand.
Steamboat delivers that chop as good as anybody, Lou.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you could hear that from the other end of the building. That's what I was talking about, going to the well once too often.
That's it.
Well, the nasty boy wanted to spread the action outside the ring. And, caught that shoulder. Steamboat firing back. Both men exchanging shots.
I can feel it from here.
That was a face.
Right in there. He caught one.
That will shake you up. That will shake you up in a hurry. Sal Correnti, the referee, trying to get the activity
And
back
this
into the
announcer
center
here
of
is
the
pick
ring.
up that guy.
There's a boot to
I
the
think this is the only
midsection.
place he ever did anything, because I don't think I ever remember seeing him ever again.
Fantastic clothesline.
I'm telling you, that was
If anybody knows
That was
Look at
better
Steamboat.
than let me know.
Steamboat trading punches with it. Both guys appear to be a little weakened. 5 minutes have elapsed so far, but it's been a very active 5 minutes. Going for the cover. 1, 2, and he gets out. Come on! 1, and that shoulder. Steamboat is tired. Look. This is the second bout he's fought tonight, and he is tired.
And you know what they say, stay on your feet. When you're on the canvas with a guy that weighs this much, it's to his advantage.
That's right.
He uses that weight advantage, which is of about 100 pounds.
That's right.
Ricky comes in at a spelt 232, and I'd venture to say that Knobs has got to go at least 332.
Oh, he's
maybe
well over 3. Oh, yeah.
About 360 pounds. You know, they're becoming bigger and bigger, and there appears to be no end in sight if you look at professional wrestling today.
Yeah, they keep building tissue, right.
Just like any other sport, they're getting bigger and bigger.
They are.
You wrestled some big guys in your time. You gave up a lot of weight in your matches.
Oh, sure. I wrestled 300-pounders. Oh, yeah.
You were what, 220, 225?
Yeah, somewhere in there. Between 20 and 25. Yeah.
That's true.
Now Ricky is trying to get some circulation going there. What he's doing here is pressing that carotid artery, which is keeping oxygen from going to the brain.
Yes.
Of course, you know, see, if wrestler did that these days, that should be over. Tap out. Gotta win. But, not this time. Still doing that phase where they didn't know what tap out was. It was just your submission move, submission hold. You have to say, I did, or you have to make one shower. That's it.
Nasty boy Knobs. Going to the short
Oh, come on, Footlocker, get in there. He's choking him.
I don't need to remind you that Ricky the Dragon Steamboat suffered a career-threatening larynx injury several years ago.
Yeah,
And every time I see somebody do that to him, I can't help but bring that dreadful event back to mind. I'm sure that has to cross his mind, too, from time to time. Uh-oh. Beautiful maneuver. 1, 2. Uh-oh. Nasty Powers.
The big fat dude is strong.
He is. The Nutrisystem poster child.
The Luther say, hey, the big fat dude is strong.
Into the midsection, and that takes a toll. Uh-oh, you want to chop, you better be careful. You better be careful if you want to trade chops with Mr. Steamboat.
That's cool, boy. I said 1, 2, 3.
That is all over. In 8 minutes and 10 seconds of this match, your winner, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Very impressive.
And South Atlantic Wrestling happens to be
And
the Flash from San Diego, California, Vince Torelli, accompanied by his friend, his
Ken Sahmrock
mentor, and his confidant, Paul
Man,
Jones. Paul, you
Jones.
got to be proud of the progress that Torelli has made over the last couple of months.
I really am. You know, I want to talk about something first, Ted, that's fresh in my mind. I guess if I want to stay out of the action, I got to stay out of the arenas. And, you know, everybody's talking about what Steamboat and I are doing now, and with the help of Torelli and War Eagle Chris Chavis and the American Bulldogs. And when you need help, it seems like your friends will run to your rescue. But I want to say one thing right now, Torelli. It looks like we're going to have to put a few things that we're doing on the back burner. But I'm still right there as your supporter, your advisor. And I made a commitment to Ricky Steamboat. And like I said, a lot of other friends have stepped in and say, we care, and we're here, and we want to help. Stud has formed his, I want to say, militia, and he calls it a stable. Well, brother, it's just beginning. There's a war going on here, and we're going to show you, Stud, how to finish it.
Well, you know, sometimes business takes precedence, and in this case, Paul, you've got to take care of business. And anytime you need, anytime at all, anywhere, anytime, you need backup, I'll be there for you, just as you are for me. And let me tell you, that Stud stable out there is going to get themselves in some trouble here because we got a pack going ourselves. So anytime you guys feel like being a little froggy and you want to jump, you better look out because there might be a frog on your back.
Tell you what, this promises to be a hot summer and fall in the South Atlantic area because
And of course,
it's starting to brew, Paul.
Paul Jones, babyface
he's
here.
exactly right. And I tell you what, the next 2 weeks, I'm going to teach Torelli something that I never wanted to teach him before. And that's fight fire with fire. And there's a lot of ways of doing it. But people out there know exactly what I'm talking about. Because when I say, even whenever you hated me, threw bricks at me and everything else, the bottom line was you still respected me because I didn't back down from anybody. Like me, hate me, or love me, I'm Paul Jones, #1, and I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be behind Steamboat's back 100%. And Stud, you bring your stable on because we're getting fired up, fired on fire.
This next action is Australian tag team action. To my right, weighing 230 pounds from Columbia, South Carolina, here is Butch Malone. His partner weighing in at 235 pounds from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Trent Knight. Their opponents, first to my left, weighing 230 pounds from Tampa, Florida, here is Dean Malenko.
Very young Dean Malenko. And
his partner weighing 240 pounds from Columbus, Georgia, Rick Wilson.
Is that the same renegade Rick Wilson?
Dean Malenko taking on the team of Trent Knight and Butch Malone. Malenko into the ring first against Trent Knight.
That is. Rick Wilson went on from the Renegade and WCW, basically a Ultimate Warrior ripoff.
Ken Webb along with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat at ringside.
And Trent Knight, he was a long-time people knew the guy for Profit and WWF. Basically, everybody who went. Of course, this is a young, that's just top 10 doctor.
His father, the legendary Professor Boris Malenko, his brother Joni Malenko, and what a wrestling family they are. Dean Malenko trained by Carl Gotch. And you'll see a lot of Carl Gotch in his style. Applying the pressure right now to Trent Knight in the red trunks. Nice reversal off the ropes. Move to the side. Boom! Knee lift.
You know, Dean Malenko is new to this area, but I'm sure that over the years of his professional career that he has spent a lot of time over in Europe, a lot of time over in Japan and the Orient.
At this point.
And his style of wrestling can adapt to almost anywhere that he wants to go.
No doubt, his style reflects the places he's wrestled.
Exactly. He may not be the biggest of them all, but the guy's in shape. His smaller side will fool you too, because I've seen him work out the waist. The guy can push him on.
230 pounds into
I
a
think he
small
already did some
frame, a low
Japanese
center
spots
of
for his
gravity.
brother Joe.
He's tough to deal with. It's like wrestling a fire hydrant. Rick Wilson into the ring right now, wearing the blue tights. Wilson is a guy that impresses me as well, Ricky.
He's a young guy. He takes care of himself. He looks good. I feel right now, just watching him a little bit, that maybe a few more matches under his belt, the guy will show some great improvement. It seems though right now he's on top of things.
Well, I tell you, he's in there with a tough guy in Trent Knight. Trent Knight is a tough competitor.
Yeah, I mean, once they put that Warrior paint, that Warrior gimmick on Rick Wilson on the Renegade, that was, his career was done.
The best of the North American Wrestling Association. Dean Malenko teaming up with Rick Wilson in the ring right now against Trent Knight.
I mean, the only place to go was WWF.
Nice walk.
And I guess it could have tried going to Japan and did independence maybe.
He's a tough guy.
You know, you see some of these guys like Trent Knight, when they cannot out-wrestle you, they will resort to other ways to slowing you down.
Really couldn't have done it at ECW either because you got the Scorpions and ECW's the winning team out was Rick Wilson. They put all match I knew it was the Renegade.
Very resilient, Ricky. Very resilient. And he's a high flyer. In the ring right now, Butch Malone.
I knew I had. I haven't went one time.
All the way over here. Not only did we hear it, we felt it. Great knee lift. Don't ever turn your back on Dino Malenko. Into the turnbuckles, picking him up for a body slam. Boom! What a power slam.
Just show you some of the strength that Dean Malenko has.
You've seen him working out in your gym with those weights.
Without a doubt, he can push them on. The guy's got about 20 pounds on him, and he's throwing them around like a rag.
Rick Wilson now into the ring. Whoa, watch this maneuver.
Ouch.
Boy, that's a nice way to start.
I guess that was before it was famous, the reverse Frankenstein or Hurricanrana.
Backdrop. Butch Malone right now has got to be feeling his stars rotating around that cranium.
I like this young kid, Rick. He's showing a lot of promise.
Ricky Wilson.
Hook that leg. Good. Good ball. Good ball.
That is it. This match belongs to the team of Rick Wilson and Dean Malenko. And Ricky, I'll tell you, this one merits another look on the slow motion instant replay camera. We'll take a look at it. You describe it for the folks back home.
Right here, he's just picking him up. He's getting a real super body slam. He goes for the cover, but he remembers one thing. He hooks that leg, and the guy couldn't kick out of it.
This one belonging to the team of Wilson and Malenko don't go away. A lot more coming up right here.
He botched that a little bit. Well, you get close now. Yeah, I don't want to speak a little bit over there.
That Curtis Thompson is in love. I found out he is. He's in love with himself.
Hey, what can you say? When you got perfection, you're at perfection at its finest.
You know, you really are a guy that has so much talent. You have more talent in your little finger than most guys possess in their entire body. Why do you have to resort to some of the tactics that you resort to win?
What tactics? I don't resort to no tactics. You look at me. I look like I'm, oh, man, I just look so good. Sometimes I even scare myself when I wake up in the morning because I am so beautiful. Hey, everybody, you take a look at the U.S. mail, and I'm the hottest thing that's going today.
Curtis, there's certainly a lot of goals in your future, a lot of goals that you want to attain. What would be some of the short-term goals that Curtis Thompson has his eyes on?
Hey, there's no short-term goals whatsoever. I look in the long. All I want is money, and all I want to do is I want to hurt people.
You see, that confuses me. Hurt people. You're a guy that can wear any title that you really set your mind to. Why so hell-bent on hurting people?
Hey, I was born to hurt people. You look at me. There's nobody that can touch me. It's just like my song says, you can't touch this, but you know, I can always touch you.
Curtis, I got to tell you that the competition is getting very ferocious in South Atlantic wrestling. There's a lot of hurdles out there to jump over.
Hey, I'm not going to take nothing away from nobody. There's a lot of great athletes here. But you know, there's just one superb athlete, and that is me.
Why the change? People remember you from the old days, and they said something happened to him after he went to Canada. Something happened to Curtis after he went to the west coast of the United States. What happened?
Hey, nothing happened. This is the real Curtis, and the U.S. mail, I'm taking over. The U.S. mail is #1, and that's how it's going to be.
Curtis, I got to tell you that's great source of disappointment to many would-be fans who would love you, but can't get behind you because of your tactics.
Hey, you look at all these fat, beer-bellied old men, and you say, you look at their wives love this Greek body. Hey, the women love me, and then fat, beer-bellied old man, you sit back and you take a look at the hottest thing going today.
Scientific matches I've ever been privy to watch at ringside. Let's go to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Go ringside and catch the match between Vince Torelli and the international heavyweight champion Mark Fleming.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the next contest of the evening. To my left, weighing 235 pounds from San Diego, California, here is Vince Torelli. He is escorted by his manager, Paul Jones.
All right, so we listened to the promo skills of
from
Curtis Thompson
Norfolk,
and a little
Virginia.
bit from
He is the international heavyweight champion of the world,
Vince
Mark
Torelli.
Fleming.
Let's see how Ricky
Lou, I tell you, we should be in for
Vince
one
Torelli
tremendous
/
wrestling
Ken
match in
Sahmrock
this one.
does
Mark
in the ring.
Fleming, who is a protege of yours, who so many times in the past I've seen him in the ring and I say, there's Lou Thez. He utilizes that grapevine in the arm like you used to do all the time. Then we look at Vince Torelli, who you know is a fantastic competitor. Both of these gentlemen are scientific wrestlers. We should be in for a clinic in this one.
It should be a classic, and both these boys are knowledgeable enough to be coaches themselves, so this should tell you something.
I can't wait. I tell you, you hate to see guys in the ring that don't subscribe to the rules, and in this case here, I think we're going to be in for a great, clean, scientific match. Both men in the ring, collar and elbow.
I think at this time they always start to call Vince
I'll be at ringside for this
they
one
brought
7 days a
Tim
week.
Woods out to kind of
You are going
honor,
to see two classics going at it, toe to toe.
or to pass along
The winner, as you
Mr.
know,
Wrestling
advances
name to
in this
Vince
one-night
Torelli.
tournament. Great fireman carry.
Of course, Tim Woods was the
The
original
North
Mr.
American
Wrestling.
Association has a back-to-wrestling movement, and what you're going to witness here is what it's all about.
No doubt, that's what's on the marquee, champ, and that says wrestling.
That's what these people do.
Got him in that classic go behind. Big takedown. Trying to ride it out. Fleming is a great competitor. Strong man. And very fluid for a guy that's 250 pounds, Lou.
Fleming, I just don't know much about.
He's a horse, I'll tell you.
He's a toughie.
I've thrown him in there with some people that thought they were pretty swift, you know, and after they tell me, where did you find this guy? I said, well, we found each other. We're both lucky.
No doubt about that. And, of course, Torelli, who is under the tutelage of Paul Jones, has certainly developed over the last few months.
Can't beat that combination.
No doubt about it. A great athlete, Lou. He had the opportunity to play for the San Diego Chargers as well as the Dallas Cowboys and turned down invitations to go to their camp so that he could pursue his career as a professional wrestler.
I think he made a wise choice.
No doubt about it.
So, he's going to go far.
Both of these guys right here have the potential to be the North American heavyweight champ. Very nice leg down.
Beautiful takedown.
And as you know, Luke, tonight this is going to be the crowning of the first NAWA heavyweight champ. So this is going to go down into the history books. It will be a trivia question that will be asked 20 and 30 years from today.
Well, it's a very important event. That's why I said out in the ring, I was so happy they chose me to make the presentation, because it's going to be a pleasure.
Nice escape there.
And one of these two boys could very well end up with it.
Either one of them. Either one of them. It's a 20-minute time limit.
I'd like to have two belts to get one each one.
Who knows? They might team up in the future and win the tag team.
What an awesome group that would be. My God.
There you see the power of Torelli as he's bridging, trying to avoid.
That's one of the things we teach. Yeah, bridging is of utmost importance.
And it's one of the things that we have been missing in professional wrestling as of the last few years, Lou.
He's using a double wrist lock there.
Nice.
Very good getaway.
Nice getaway. Both of these guys are about equally as strong, too, Lou. It's very evenly matched.
Great athletes.
Great hip lock takedown by Mark Fleming. Byron Richard, the official for this match. And this should be a dream to referee this match.
Oh, it will be. Get in the ring.
Paul Jones trying to give him some advice, called him outside of the ring. Right now, the experience factor has to rest with Mark Fleming. And I'll tell you, this Torelli is a candidate for Rookie of the Year.
Looks like a pretty good rookie to me.
Oh, he's a darn good rookie. Whoa!
Beautiful.
Great maneuver and a great escape by Fleming. Look at the definition on those legs and on that back.
Oh, hard-working people.
This guy, you know, I always tell people, Lou Thez works out 5 days a week. You're not one of these guys that says, well, I'm going to go out there 3 days a week just to get in shape. You take it serious. Torelli, Fleming, these are 5-day-a-week guys in the gym right now.
That way you're always ready.
No doubt.
No matter what happens. And you feel better about what you've done. It's like a very religious person doesn't go to church on Sunday or whatever day he's supposed to. He feels guilty. And if these people do not work out a day, they feel guilty. That's the way it is.
Fleming riding his man right now. These are some of the maneuvers that you would see in a classic amateur wrestling match. You can see that these guys both have impressive amateur backgrounds. Torelli kicking that shoulder out at the count of 2. Bridging that neck. This is a great confrontation, champ. Ted Webb and Lou Thez at ringside. We are in the elimination tournament for the North American Wrestling Association Heavyweight Championship belt. In the blue trunks in the ring, the current International Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, Mark Fleming, against the youngster, Vince Torelli.
And I'm so happy to be here.
Well, I'll tell you, this is the vantage point, champ. You're going to have a better seat in the house.
Get nice kicks tonight.
Yes, sir. And those are legal. We might add, some of the people may have said that those were legal. Those were forearms. Trying to get him into a half crab there. He's got him in that half crab. Look at Torelli. Look at the strength of Torelli.
Oh,
there's a Lou Thez maneuver.
Step over toe hold.
Step over toe
heard a story of
Ken
Sahmrock getting in a fight with the Nasty Boys. This is where it happened
checking with
in this
Torelli to see if
promotion.
he does not submit.
South Atlantic for Wrestling or
Step over toe with a crossface.
How many
North American
times we have
Wrestling
seen you,
Association.
champ, throughout the course of time apply
Not
that
sure
to
what started
different
the fight,
opponents. 5
whatever.
minutes have passed in this
Drunk
20-minute
ball
bout.
had a fully woken up
And
other
we have seen
wrestlers,
5 minutes of
staying in a
pure
motel.
chess, human
Frank
chess.
Disick claimed that it
Mano
was
a mano.
only the intervention of Robert Fuller and the
He's
American
almost got that
Bulldog
shoulder hook.
who
1, 2,
became
and
the
Torelli
pit bull
barely.
in
That kid's
ECW
strong.
after
Yes,
Ben
he is.
Knob
That's
was
a tough
tagged
one to
and
move out of,
throwing
man.
You
the
bet it
unconscious
is.
Ken Sahmrock over a third floor
bet it
balcony
is.
of the hotel room.
Fleming is at this time right now
Shamrock
wearing
suffered a
down
broken
that leg.
thumb
There's a
and
lot of pressure being
caved-in
put on
eye
that knee
socket
joint.
as
What he's trying to do is take the steam out of Vince and then
2-on-1 attack.
take him if he possibly can.
You got to wear him down. Both of these guys are too strong for just going there and pin the other guy.
Can't do it.
Yeah,
No.
Got to wear him down.
If you do that, you make yourself vulnerable, and he's got to work you that way.
Nice reversal by Torelli right there. Barring that arm.
But it's like a couple young bulls testing each other. You know,
This is pure. This is classic. This is what it's all about. Torelli trying to turn the tide right now. So far, this match has belonged to Mark Fleming. And Fleming,
So basically, I mean,
Fleming
two
with a
young
great,
guys going at it. And this
almost a
time
great
it was
reversal.
usually a scientific match was very bad,
Grabs that
very
leg, nice leg
match-based.
dive, and he's got Torelli back on the canvas.
Not a whole lot of forearms, chops,
This is like the human pretzel.
stuff like that.
It's like the
change
human
the
pretzel.
whole-
oh yes, oh yes.
Maybe, you know, a few drop kicks in there.
Notice he went right back to the
Usually,
leg.
especially if it's going to go Broadway, about the last 5 minutes, and then one of them kind of loses their temper.
Torelli
And,
trying to
you know,
use
they
it
both
at his
discuss a
disposal
little
right now
bit,
to break out of that.
Then kick it in for the
You
last
heard
5
Torelli clearly
minutes.
say, no, no, no.
Except Broadway.
No way.
I don't think there's any
punch
give up
near
in either of these
falls,
two
and
guys.
then,
No, they aren't made that way.
referee say, oh, that's it.
No.
Time when it's
Torelli
expired, it's a
into a
draw.
headlock.
They shake hands. And
Applying the side headlock on
that'd
Mark
be
Fleming.
it. Not like you
If
see
you've
now
just
where
joined us, this is one of the
they'll go
elimination
ahead and
bouts of the
throw a
North American
punch here and
Wrestling
there, or,
Association Heavyweight Championship Tournament. So far, we have seen Robert Fuller advance. The winner of this match will also
flip, flop,
advance in
and fly.
spite of the American Bulldogs also into the winner's bracket right now.
Me, I prefer a little bit of a mixture.
Kid's got some powerful arms. That's
yes, he
some
does.
kind of a headlock he has there.
If I was going to book a babyface match, I would be like, okay, no fist beats gone. Maybe start out a little bit of the mat base, exchange of holds and stuff like that.
There's a loot there. And
Then
just
maybe
as quickly
do
as he's
a
got him
little
in that
side
side
flying,
headlock or the
a little
scissors,
bit, but
Torelli is a free man.
go back
See
to
how
the
both
mat
of the
base.
opponents come up, they face each other to be sure they
try
don't
and
look
get a
around
pinfall or
try
submission.
they face each other immediately to counteract anything that could be coming up.
That's it. And you talk about looking around trying to taunt the audience. That's what cost Colt Steele his match.
Oh my God.
Got caught with 5 straight drop kicks, and then he got hooked,
That's a kiss of death.
cradled, and he was gone. What's going through their minds right now, champ?
Looking for an opening. Beautiful. That's a beautiful move. What a nice single leg he used. Super.
Well, he tried it first, couldn't get him to go down, and then tried a little subtle change.
Good way to dislocate his knee, too.
Yes, sir. I guess instructions as well as encouragement. Great punch. Great. Boy, what a backdrop. 1, 2, and Torelli's got that shoulder up. That one had to hurt.
Automatic, you know, it's a strange thing. When they hear that 2 count, they just go ape. That shoulder's got to come up.
You know that he had to lose a little bit of his wind there because he didn't kick out. He just kind of lifted that shoulder out.
That's right.
Look at that bridge.
Oh, that's it, man, right there. That saves you. There's no way they can pin you up when you're up in the bridge.
No doubt
way.
about it. No doubt about it. I'll tell you, you take a look at Paul Jones's face, and he looks concerned right now.
Should be.
He looks concerned.
In Greco-Roman wrestling, they train the kids. They must bridge for 1 year before they begin other wrestling.
That's a long time in preparation.
It prevents injuries also.
It certainly does. We don't recommend this for the youngsters at home that have not been
believe it or
trained to
not,
try to do these neck bridges because you can injure yourself severely.
For a
You
long
can
time,
injure yourself severely, particularly at a
babyface
young
was
age
told
when
not being a
those muscles
Forms
and
they can
the
do,
bone
but
structure there is not
not
completely
the, you know,
developed.
They
just
aren't
a
ready for it,
closed
no.
fist
Do
punch.
not try any of this at home. If you're interested in wrestling, check with your recreation center,
you go.
your YMCA,
Now, the heel's
or
always
check with
through
your,
the punch.
your school coach and sign
Or
up and
sometimes
learn
they
how
will
to
throw
do
the
it the
first
right
punch
way. Hip lock
and
takedown.
then
15 minutes have elapsed laps so far. 15 minutes have elapsed in this 20-minute time limit.
A little loose on that one.
Getting him up for what may be a souffle, but what a great maneuver and leg drop by Fleming.
You're going to see some frantic pin attempts here because somebody's going to try.
And great counter moves as well.
Yeah, because the time's getting ripe now.
No, we're under 5 minutes now. There's less than 5 minutes left in this match, and both of these guys would like to advance to the winner's bracket. So far, we have Robert Fuller, and we also have the youngest member of the American Bulldog, Spike.
Keep wrestling. Without throwing a punch.
Vince Torelli in the white, Mark Fleming in the blue. They'd like to join that elite circle of winners tonight. Before the evening is over, we will crown the first ever North American Wrestling Association heavyweight champion. This is a classic confrontation of the sweet science. Well, I'll tell you, they're both going to be beat by the time that this bell rings.
But you know, with the condition that these people are in, not to be controversial, but you give them 5 minutes, and it's amazing. They're so aerobically sound, they can come right back.
Well, they're both fine-tuned to go 60 or more.
That's it. There you go.
And we talked about their conditioning programs before the match started. These are not guys that go into the ring every other day. They're there 5 days a week. And mind you, during the same time that they're in the ring, they're also, in the gym, they're also in the ring that night wrestling.
That's right. You got that right.
Rigorous schedule that these guys put themselves through. This is classic Lou Thez right there.
Short arm scissor.
Short arm scissors, applying the pressure. You won yourself quite a few matches with it.
Yes, I have. Yeah, and there's an amateur hold similar to this. And we did an offshoot of that thing years ago, and we developed it into a short arm scissor. But they had one.
3 minutes remain in the match. 3 minutes remain in the match.
This is similar to the key lock.
That's like this match.
You got to hand it to Torelli.
I always hear the announcer.
You got to hand it to Torelli. He is in pain right now. We have to remind the people that it takes only 8 pounds to pop that joint in the elbow.
One of those Broadway matches.
Circulation is stopped completely in the arm.
Well, you can see the discoloration of the arm.
Oh, it'll get white.
It is getting white.
The hand will get white.
Torelli is a man with a great suntan, and you can take a look at that part of the arm right there.
I wish we could see his hand up in here.
Well, I'll tell you what, that hand's got to really be going through changes right now.
The hand will be absolutely white.
That circulation has been cut off, and as you can see, Fleming is applying. Look at the concentration in his eyes. Great concentration. A man who is focused right now. You can see the difference. Look at Torelli's shoulders right now. You'll see the tan. There are 2 minutes remaining. 2 minutes remaining in this match. You'll see the tan on Torelli, and then if you can get a close-up of that hand, look at the difference. Can you see the difference in what little bit of the hand we can see there?
Yeah.
Torelli right now trying to shake that arm loose, trying to get some circulation going back into it.
Right, get some blood down in there.
He feels like he dunked that into a hornet's nest right about now.
Takes the power out of it.
Great body slam.
2 minutes.
We are under 2 minutes, and we have been treated to 18 of the most exciting minutes of wrestling we've seen in quite a few times. Mark Fleming, the international heavyweight champion, and Vince Torelli. Torelli with a souffle, working on that lower back, trying to cover him, hooking that leg, and powering out is Mark Fleming. Into the ropes, reversed. Torelli caught with a drop kick, and a good drop kick, square on the chest. 1, 2, Torelli powers out. We are now within the 1 minute mark. 1 minute remaining in this match. Torelli's got him up in a cradle. Fleming finding the ropes.
1 minute left. 1 minute.
We are under 1 minute right now.
You're going to see an effort here somewhere.
This is an elimination bout. The winner would advance in the North American Wrestling Association Heavyweight Championship Tournament. The loser goes home. 30 seconds. 30 seconds remaining in this match.
30.
Great block takedown. Torelli going for the cover. Powering out. Mark Fleming. He's got him. 1, 2, and lifting that shoulder and avoiding a pin, and that one came close. Lou Thez, that one came close.
I'll tell you, this is so thrilling. I'm getting transfixed there. I'm not even telling you what I think. I'm just watching. I'm like a real fan.
10 seconds remaining in the match. 10 seconds remaining. Collar and elbow. Something has got to happen extremely quick, or this is not. 1, 2. Fleming with the shoulders out. We are out of time. We are out of time. This match has ended up in a draw. And I'll tell you what, if we've got some wrestling fans here, they ought to give these guys a standing ovation. A standing ovation. They don't want to stop. They don't want to stop, Lou.
How do you like that? You talk about amateur spirit.
I'll tell you what.
Both competitors are eliminated.
I don't believe these guys, either of them, heard the bell. They were so
Now,
entrenched in what they were
honestly,
doing.
They don't want the bell.
this
they want
match
to
will
wrestle.
probably not hold up today. I mean,
Sadly
this
enough, the new North American
good
Wrestling
display of the
Association
old-fashioned
heavyweight
Texas
champion will
Mexican
not
wrestling,
They're
wrestling
loving it.
being, pro wrestling being just called an expedition.
They have put on a clinic tonight, my friends.
Super.
A super classic confrontation. You see Paul
Just,
Jones
hard,
in the spirit of good
mat work and
sportsmanship.
stuff like that.
All three of them raising their hands up
Good
in the
display
air.
of that,
You don't see
but
matches like this.
definitely when tight,
Team action.
be held
The
up
first team
today
to my
because
right.
maybe a
Weighing in
little more action than
240
the rest.
pounds from Charlotte, North Carolina, David Isley.
David Isley, a long time, pretty
Weighing in at
solid guy.
245 pounds from Columbus, here is Thomas St. John. And weighing in at 245 pounds from Raleigh, North Carolina, Jerry Price. Their opponents, first to my left, weighing 240 pounds from Dallas, the Maniac, Matt Bourne. Weighing in at 250 pounds from Tennessee, the Tennessee stud, Robert Fuller. And weighing in at 250 pounds from Kansas City, Cowboy Bob Orton.
This will be an Australian tag team match, a six-man Australian tag team match. Bob Orton Jr. teaming up with Matt Bourne, the Maniac, and the NAWA heavyweight champion Robert Fuller. And I can tell by the look in your eyes that you're not a happy man.
He made
watching
Doink
these guys.
the Clown worse.
A little earlier in this particular hour that things are starting to get
He was
heated
able
up.
to get that character
Things
over.
are starting to get hot in this area. You know, it's just a matter of time before
Of course, we talked about him a
everything
little
just blew
bit.
its top off and it came to a head and exploded all
In
over
the
the
history
darn
course,
place.
he
We
went
had
to
that big
WCW
tournament
and wrestled as
that
going
stood
for
up
a
there,
Big
come away as the
Josh.
heavyweight champion. And
2
ever
years
since
after
that
this.
particular evening, we've had a distinct line between who stands on this side of the fence and who is standing on that side of the
He
fence.
was
You got
kind
the
of
Nasty Boys that
kind of
come
mainstay
back
in
from
Portland
Georgia
for a long
as the
time,
World
and
Tag
in
Team Champions.
World
You got
Class.
everybody on the opposite side of the fence wearing the championship belts. You can just imagine what these guys are, the guys that I'm rooming with in the locker room, what they're saying.
I can imagine.
I don't particularly care for any of these guys. I don't believe in anything that they do. The way they talk about each other on TV and praise each other, that they're almost like the best of friends, and deep down inside of them, you think they really trust each other.
I don't think been known to be the John
I
Holmes
think it's a bunch of bull
of pro
that they're
wrestling.
out there talking about how great they
Look
really
that up,
are.
not from
I've
explain.
often wondered how a group of rattlesnakes in a viper's pit get along. And I have to think of these guys in the same breath.
Great example right there. I'd like to see David Isley right now take
And
this
of course,
guy's
Bob
head
Orton
off. Come on,
Jr.
David,
He was
come on now.
the father of Randy Orton.
It's just a minor observation, Ricky, but I know the last time Matt Bourne and Bob Orton teamed up, Bob Orton never got into the ring.
That was 2 weeks ago. That's correct. Now, it's funny to see
Bob Orton
Orton
Sr.,
standing
of course,
over here
was
now.
way before my time. Seen a lot of
Bourne
Bob
and
Orton.
also Fuller had to approach Orton about this
The
six-man
Mr.
tag
Jet
team
Brook Academy,
combination.
yeah.
And in the back of Orton's mind, what is he thinking?
I don't know. There's the tag again with Fuller. Unless this could be some subtle pressure trying to get Orton to join the stud stable. We don't know.
Or Honky Tonk Man called it the gut wrench.
We've seen Bob Orton in the ring twice here over the last few weeks, and he hasn't gotten in for a minute's worth of action.
Not 1 second. The guy hasn't broken a sweat yet.
Fuller in there against Jerry Price. A great suplex.
You know, that's one of the few wrestling moves that I've seen Fuller do.
I have to agree with you.
And he comes from a family of wrestlers. His father, his brother. I'll tell you something, Ted, right now, I'm getting real itchy in my pants. I'd like to get up there and just take a hold of that man by the head.
Wait, did you just see what happened here? Orton tagged Fuller in the arm, and Fuller said, no, I didn't make the tag. He tags with Matt Bourne. Something is
Byron Richards is telling Matt Bourne to get out that he saw the tag between Orton and Fuller. Fuller does not want to even acknowledge the fact that there was a tag made.
drop kick from Bob Orton Jr.
But yeah, I mean, Bob Orton
Or second
Jr.
generation
here, I
Bob
mean,
Orton Sr. certainly one of the great
he's as smooth as they came through. I mean,
This looks like the superplex.
I've always said when Randy Orton made his debut and became a star, I'm like, the apple does not fall from the tree. And of course, this is Bob Orton's finishing maneuver here, the superplex. Yes, back in this time, the superplex would be a finisher, not just a spot. He kind of twisted that one, looked more like a jackhammer.
1, 2, 3. Orton gets the cover, and there's almost disgust. There's almost disgust on the face of Robert Fuller and Maniac Matt Bourne. Look at this. Look at this. If we can get a camera shot, they're leaving the ring. Maybe you could shed some light on what's happening here.
I gotta carry this chair around with me because I gotta watch our back devil there. Ricky Steamboat, Paul Jones, I don't know what it's gonna take, but all you gotta do is come out here and fake. I don't care.
Hey, watch the chair. Hold it down with the chair there. I want to tell you something. Last week we're out here, and I'm trying to tell Matt the way I feel about you, Matt. I got the guys over here. I want to tell them the way I feel about them. They come out here, a crazy bunch of morons, and there's 6 of them looking us in the face. I got Steamboat breathing down my neck, looking me in the face. There's the Bulldogs talking to the champions. I'm going to tell you something, Steamboat. It was days last week, but now it's hours. I'm going to guarantee you, Paul Jones, Steamboat, Bulldog, number 1, 2, 3, 4. What the heck on, Jones? Let me tell you,
I thought they was building up some kind of angle with a distinction with Bob Orton, but and that's it, just like that. That's how it. I guess that's how. No, see you again next week or anything else. This is bye, bye. But pretty good stuff there. Like I said, the Vince Torelli Fleming match or Ken Shamrock Fleming match definitely wouldn't hold up to today's standards. The classic guys kind of liked it, but even I was kind of like, what's going on here? Let's kick it in a little bit more. And I'm pretty old school myself, so. But yeah, Mr. Jump Rope Academy. That's what they call, or like I said, Hockey Talk Man calls it the gut wrench. Uh, you folks look it up. We're not going to if we ain't dropped a number of hints yet, or I've dropped a number of hints yet, just look it up. But despite that, it looked like a promising company. Um, see, like I said, let's uh, it wound up becoming South Atlantic Pro Wrestling, but it was started out as North American Wrestling Association, founded by George Scott and John Ringley, Mike Lamberth. Later was taken over by Paul Jones and Frank Dusek. Frank Dusek, worked a lot in World Class and stuff like that. I think he's got a lot of family. Ruby Dusek, Joe Dusek. A lot of family history there too. Just like Fuller. His dad was Buddy Fuller. Father was it Lester Welch or what? I think that's. But well, let's find out here. Yeah, Buddy Fuller was the son of Roy Welch, so that's and of course his brother's Ron Fuller. Cousin was Jimmy Golden, who was famous for being Buckhouse Buck. Uh, but the formation, North American Wrestling Association, of course, the first TV taping was held in Sumter, South Carolina on February 8th, 1990. Matches from these shows were first shown in March and April of 1990. The first North American champion was Robert Fuller, won an 18-man tournament, defeating Ricky Steamboat in the finals. That tournament took place in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The first North American Tag Team Champions was the Nasty Boys. They defeated a team of Danny Allen and Bob Emery. Bob Emery, of course, we need a show with Soli or Ross. Yeah. Uh, we had a show with Soli last week. Was it last week? No, week 4. Yeah, it was last week. The PWF. Uh, see, I think just about everything Jim Ross ever did, WWE owns. I need to see if I can sneak in a Mid South, maybe Tri-State or something like that. I don't, but anyway, Scott and Ringley as former, actually they were Jim Crockett employees. Uh, the group purchased the old JCP market stations in the Carolinas along with the original time slots. Paul Jones and Frank Doucette took over the promotion and negotiated a deal with American One Network to air South Atlantic Pro Wrestling on Friday nights later that year. Territorial reach, excuse me. George Scott and his partners hope to revive the National Wrestling Alliance's old Mid Atlantic Wrestling Territory, which traditionally covered Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. After securing key television markets and Carolinas approaches signed contracts with old Jim Crockett promotion arenas to hold pro wrestling shows on a regular basis. Within the first year of operation, house shows and TV tapings were held at the Columbia Township Auditorium, Grady Cole Center, Greenwood Civic Center, Limestone College Gym, and Winston-Salem Memorial Coliseum. The Southland Pro Wrestling Tours also included high school gyms, rec centers, and fairs in cities throughout Georgia, Mississippi, Virginia, and the Carolinas. In August 1991, South Atlantic Pro Wrestling held a benefit show in Wentworth, North Carolina for Operation Family Shield to support established then Governor Jim Martin that provided financial assistance to military families of North Carolina National Guardsmen and U.S. Army Reservists stationed in the Persian Gulf. Yeah, they own the UWF. I don't, I don't know. Let me check up on that. I know on the network they did show Mid South. I'm not sure if they had UWF on there. Notable talent, South Atlantic Pro Wrestling featured many Mid-Atlantic veterans such as Big John Studd, Bob Orton Jr., Island Koloff, Junkyard Dog, Man Fernandez, Matt Bourne, Paul Jones, Randy Colley, Ricky Steamboat, Robert Ford, Ron Garvin, Tommy Rich, Rahul McDaniel, and the Fantastics. Of course, the Fantastics at that point was Bobby and Jackie Fulton. Other legends such as Lou Thesz, Johnny Weaver, and Ted Woods appear alongside Southland announcer Ted Webb as guest commentators for Southland Pro Wrestling. Bob Caudle also joined promotion in late 1991. Henry Marcus, another longtime JCP associate, promoted his final show for the group. The promotion also showcased younger talent such as Bambi, Curtis Thompson, Dean Malenko, Nelson Frazier, of course, Mabel, the Patriot, PN News, Rick Savage, Rob Van Dam, Vince Raleigh, Ken Shamrock, the American the Pitbulls, Nasty Boys, Chris Chavis, of course, who grew up to become Tatanka. Let's see, during the first year at South Atlantic, he was voted third runner-up, him being Chris Chavis and Rookie of the Year for Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Chris Chavis also awarded the South Atlantic Pro Wrestling before he being signed to the World Wrestling Federation. Chavis attributed his early success to Ricky Steamboat and Wahoo McDaniel, who mentored him during his career. I don't think anybody. I don't think anybody owns them. So I can probably. Um, Pro wrestling this week. Not sure if they for the format I'm doing. I don't know if they be as good as far as watch alongs. Uh, Maybe during the matches as they're playing, but or well, I mean, I'll watch along as I talk. Uh, yeah, I don't think Bonnie Blackstone maybe WATL 36. Uh, anyway, style and controversy. The demise, in spite of strong start to promotion, operated a loss during his first 6 months in business. George Scott lost an estimated $600,000 before deciding to cut his losses and retire to Florida. There was a notable drop in quality after original investors pulled out and many of the promotion's top stars left. Southland Pro Wrestling remained in the Friday Night Death slot throughout the 2 year run. Jones and Ducey eventually sold Southland Pro Wrestling to North Carolina promoter Greg Price, who ran the promotion during its final year. The last official show was held in Giro Gordo, North Carolina on August 1st, 1992. So, I mean, that's kind of par for the course. A lot of promotions who, trying to fill the void of the territories usually last 2 to 5 years. But yeah, I really don't know. I guess we can. Uh, the World Wrestling Entertainment acquired most of the Universal Wrestling Federation's video archive in 2012, including the Mid South UWF library, and added to this WWE library's collection. However, estate of Paul Bosch, the Houston Wrestling promoter, owns rights to matches taped for Houston Wrestling that aired on KHT, KHTV in Houston. Some episodes of Mid South are available to view on Mid South or on WWE Network on the Peacock and all that. Billy Corgan owns the Paul Bosch video library. Mm, so I'll do some research here. Let's see. Who owns the video library of? Well, see, I mean that's gonna be tricky too because they would show a lot of WWF and UWF and World Class. Actually, you know what? Huh, this reading thing. It doesn't say anybody really owns it, but like I say, you do got a lot of AWA, UWF, World Class, WWF, NWA. Um, so it would be kind of hard to show because of copyright stuff, but uh, I I got an idea. I'll I'll bring it up later, maybe. Because read this right here about the legacy of or um, reading about da, 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 reading about pro wrestling this week, and somebody asked if superstars for wrestling would be feasible for internet television. Featuring the independent circuit. I gotta write down some notes. Anyways, uh, yep, I got an idea. And usually most of my ideas sound good at first, and then sometimes they sound good, but turns out it's not as easy as it looks. Anyway, uh, any more thoughts on NAW? Yeah, that announcement on there was not that good. A couple of good matches. If you like that old school, that Vince Riley Flaming match was okay. Definitely would not hold up today. That would definitely get the crowd chanting, boring, boring, which I always hated that chant. Um, Maybe I should watch some of these, and I said just pick one up out of blue. But anyway, I think that's gonna do it for me for this week on Wrestling Gold Friday night. Hopefully everybody enjoyed. Appreciate everybody tuning in live and joining the chat. Uh, Also appreciate everybody who's watching this on replay. Like I said, if you're not a subscriber yet, go ahead, be a champ, and click on that subscribe button, notification bell, and all that good stuff. Yeah, anything Orton Jr. he is. I think if it wasn't for Randy Orton, I don't think he would be talked about as well as he should be. But if you see how smooth Randy Orton is, that's how smooth his dad was. Orton Jr. was just real crisp, real smooth. Made everything count. I mean, kind of like what Randy does. Sometimes that don't want to say slow, but that methodical type, you know, pace. Uh, the Viper type deal. Uh, Barry Orton, his uncle, Randy's or Bob's brother. I think he was just a prelim guy. Then little scandal broke. He wasn't. Um, he was a victim, I guess, of the scandal. Who Barry owes? I mean, I remember, kind of sort of remember watching him as a kid, but it's not something someone I did like would search for, and a few stuff I seen like like on a network or something like that. He was kind of a enhancement guy. Hence why he just went by Barry Orton or Barry Barry, not Barry Orton, Barry O. But he was kind of the victim in the controversy. So that kind of he just made the talk show rounds, and that was about it. Yeah, Barry O was job guy. That's who I thought you was talking about. Yeah, Bob Orton Jr. was very good. Oh, I didn't know Barry Orton passed away. He passed away in 2021. Doesn't say how. I didn't know he passed away. Bob Orton Jr. is pretty good, and I don't don't think I ever really seen Barry Bob Orton Sr. Yeah, I didn't know. What was I at? Hmm. I see a picture of him. He looks like he looks like uh, Owen Hart. Anyway, I'll probably look that up later. Actually, speaking of shoot interviews, recently I watched Buddy Landale's shoot interview. Some of the things that little BS about, I think, but or he kind of missed the time frame there, but uh, but the story of him kind of wasting his opportunity to be a world champion, it's been backed up by a couple more people. So, but it was, I believe Buddy Landale was probably one of the first interviews we got and watched. It was a good one. Found another Ole Anderson interview, but it's like a two-parter. I think each of them's like a couple hours, so I gotta really get some time to watch that. But what else? But Tri-State. But I know I found the tape that had Billy Starr being interviewed by, of course, Billy Starr wound up being uh, one half of the Mass Nightmares on Deep South, Hillbilly Festus, and uh, Southern Championship Wrestling from Georgia, and um, Georgia All Star, and North Georgia Wrestling Alliance. I think that's what it's called after that. But yeah, he was doing an he was a manager there in Tri-State. He was being interviewed by Jim Ross. I don't know that there's a full tape of that, and I don't think WWF or E owns that, but it will be dated. I'll try to look some stuff up. Let's see. What else is there? Yeah, I was want to try and find some Southeastern too. Speaking of the Fullers, um, but some of the stuff I found, it's the quality's not that great, so it's kind of hard to share it. Which I mean, stuff was like 1980, 80, 83, and all that. But it's kind of cool to watch these like late 80s, early 90s independents. You know, with the people actually trying to get something good started, have some stars on there, trying to bring in some, future stars, or could it be, maybe stars, and some of them did become stars. Uh, but we'll find some stuff. I'll find some stuff. I'll dig around and find some stuff. Let's see. Probably next week. Next week. Next week. Next week. Next week. Since it's just popped in my head, maybe next week we'll go back to Continental. I don't know. Continental is just one of those places that, you know what? All right. For those watching now in the live chat and those in the comments, here's a poll. Next week's Wrestling Gold Friday night. Do I find some World Wrestling Council from Puerto Rico? Or do I show some Continental? That's the choices. Let me know, and I will find something. Because I know they don't own Puerto Rico. They don't own World Wrestling Council. Not that I know of. I'll I'll I will check to find out first, but I do not think so. I think they're still a company themselves. Nope. It's still going to this day. Wow. Okay. So I'm just reading about this. The founders of World Wrestling Council was, of course, Carlos Colon, Victor, come on, give me some Victor Jovica, and Gorilla Monsoon. Oh. So I got either one. So yeah. And I'll try and find something from 85, 86 before. Uh, I mean, the one really bad, sad history of World Wrestling Council, it would always be the promotion where Bruiser Brody got murdered. And they're still going on. And the people involved still are there. So anyway, we'll look that out. We'll check that out next week. So until next week, hope you folks have a good one and take it easy. Hey there, thank you for checking this out. If you enjoyed it, share with friends, drop a like button, leave a comment. Also, be a champ and hit that subscribe button. You can also check me out on social media, Facebook at Ronald Ray, on X or Twitter is RPATRPTV46. Until next time.
So long from the peach state of Georgia.